All right. So I know, Pam, we were talking a lot about the different new characters that were introduced in this season of Wednesday. A couple more I just wanted to mention. Professor Orloff, a great cameo by what I feel like we can call Addams Family legend, Christopher Lloyd. And just a lot of really fun scenes with him. He reminds me a bit of Argus Filch from the Harry Potter series because he likes to keep an eye on all of these troublesome students that are up to no good throughout Nevermore. And he seems to have developed a little bit of a relationship with Pugsley because Pugsley is, of course, a bit of a delinquent thus far. But it was nice to see him get so much screen time.
Yeah, it's always really fun when they bring back these, like iconic actors from the 90s Addams Family movies. And it's really cool to see that they've given them like some meaty parts because it would be so easy just to give them quick cameos. And I think it's great that they've done more than that. And then also that these actors are willing to play in that world. So,
And it was almost, in a way, kind of a Back to the Future vibe because you only get Christopher Lloyd's head as the professor. Um, so I thought that was really fun.
yeah.
And then just kind of rounding out these new characters, we talked a little bit about Wednesday Stalker, who ends up being Agnes DeMille. And she has some pretty interesting powers. She can make herself invisible. And it actually explains a lot of why, we can't really catch on to her at any given time. What were your thoughts on this? And not only is she have these powers of invisibility, but she's a big Wednesday fan.
Yeah, I think it makes sense with with them introducing this notoriety, fame element to the fold this season. Obviously, it's not anything that Wednesday wants, but when you save the whole school, it seems like it's a given, right? So it would make sense that she would have a stalker. I think it's really interesting in terms of using Agnes as a plot device to kind of drive a wedge between Wednesday and Enid. Although I really did like where they ended off with those two in particular last season. I feel like that really showed a lot of character growth on Wednesday's part. The fact that she grew to care for somebody enough to want to put them ahead of herself when she's always been very selfish in that way. So it's unfortunate to see them kind of like drifting apart a little bit, but it also makes sense because she is trying to make sure that Ina doesn't die. So I know that's part of the reason why she's pulling away and then introducing the stalker that then kind of becomes like another henchman for her. It's an easy way for her to have somebody that's around to kind of do her bidding, for better or worse.
Yeah. I actually thought where you were going when you said seeing the two of them together at the end, you were talking about Agnes and Enid because they are actually together watching kind of everything unfold
Oh yeah, that
at
too.
the
Yeah.
asylum. So you
Mm-hmm.
almost have really the two of them now coming together, and presumably with Wednesday out of the picture, they're going to have to work together because there's a lot going on, right? You released a lot of outcasts from this insane asylum, and the Hyde is on the prowl, and that's going to cause a lot of problems of presumably for Enid.
Yeah, so true.
Now, I know we talked a lot about characters and in that a lot of the plot did come up, but just kind of going through the big moments of season two, part one, we can dive a little bit deeper here. The season opens up, and we actually got the first 6 minutes of the season going back probably over a month ago at this point. It's Wednesday on a little bit of a vacation to Kansas City, to track down um, essentially a serial killer who she's been, I don't want to use the word obsessed, but she has been tracking maybe since her early elementary school days. And
She's a little obsessed.
she is, I think she's fangirling just a little bit here.
Yeah.
But she is able to track him down with the help of Thing, which, again, this is crazy because this is another episode of Wednesday that we've done where it's taken us about 30 minutes to mention Thing, but he's back.
Yeah. I feel like that's fitting, particularly for season 2, because there's that whole tiny little subplot about how everyone forgets his birthday and overworks
Oh,
him.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, even though he's supposed to be family, like everybody knows that he is part of the Addams family, but he feels like a servant, basically.
That's
So,
so true. Well, apologies, Thing, and happy birthday to you, by the way. But what I think what's so important about the trip to Kansas City is that it's really where Wednesday's powers start to drain. And, these visions that she's having slowly start to dissipate throughout the course of the first half of this season to the point where basically it's almost like she's only able to get little flickers. And it's like when you turn on a TV and all you see is the snow there. That's basically what was happening to her. Her powers have essentially been diminished, and this is really the starting point of that.
yeah, it kind of makes you wonder if maybe we'll see her have to work everything out without her powers completely in the back half of the season. Um, I know that she's, or like her new mentor is going to pop up. I know that that's Morticia's big thing, that she's saying that she just needs to be patient, and that Goody's book is no longer of use to her. It's causing more harm than good, and she just needs to wait for the universe to give her her next guide, basically. So I mean, I feel like the obvious answer to this is that they're setting up Ophelia's return, because Morticia talks a lot about
And who
how
do we think is going to play Ophelia?
that's a good question. Do you think it's not? Well, I would say Gaga, but they've already announced she's going to be a teacher. So
Oh,
yeah,
dang.
I know. But imagine. Yeah, I don't know if they've announced the cast for Ophelia Adams. That's a good point.
That's actually a really good point. And I was also wondering too, the person that Wednesday goes back for at Willow Hill, that wasn't Ophelia, was it?
So I was wondering that too, but then didn't Fester get a good look at her as well? And don't you think Fester
Hmm,
would have recognized
that's
her?
fair.
That's the only reason why I wasn't convinced. But for a minute, I also thought maybe that was Ophelia, and she just never left, and they thought she did.
Hmm. Well, yeah, especially if she would have been in this area,
Yeah,
Fester wouldn't have known about it when he went to Willow Hill.
yeah, but yeah, you have to assume that he knows what she looks like, unless she's unrecognizable because she's been locked up for so
Or he just
long.
wasn't paying attention.
Right, right, yeah,
Yeah. I'm curious now because that person has to come back to play some kind of pivotal
role.
role.
Yeah, I
Wednesday just
agree.
didn't go back to get her for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious. I want to know more about her. But really, kind of the big power outage, so to speak, happens when Wednesday has her vision about Enid, right? And you were mentioning this earlier. It's really after that where her visions or her ability to kind of, by touching something to be able to kind of get a sense of what happened, that it really starts to take a downward turn. And I, much like you, wonder if this is going to be some kind of self-fulfilling prophecy, though. Morticia almost warns her of that without saying those words.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense because, like, when teenagers never want to believe their parents, right? So it makes sense that Wednesday would want to listen to what Morticia has to say. And she makes it very clear, too. She says, what does she say? she says that like her mom's a dove and she's a raven, and that's why she won't accept her help or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, they're really setting up this idea that Wednesday thinks that her mom and her are complete opposites and that they could never work together. But it would be interesting if Morticia ends up playing a vital role in helping her crack the case because
Yeah.
she's been pushing her away this whole time. So,
Part that makes me think that, at least for right now, it's somewhat self fulfilling is that Enid tells Wednesday that it's all her fault. And certainly everything that plays out at Willow Hill, you could say is Wednesday's fault, right? Because of the actions that she takes. Now, the hide is loose, and we haven't really spoken much about the hide, but I thought surprising because obviously a big plot point in season one carries over now to season two. And what kind of resolution do we think we're going to get with that storyline? Could that be a redemption arc too? Because so much is talked about how, once the um, sort of bond between Master and Hyde is broken, the Hyde is essentially going to devolve. But there's also a human being here in Tyler. And I wonder if somebody, it could be Wednesday, it could be another character, is able to kind of help him manage this condition, so to speak.
yeah, that would be interesting. It kind of they do make you feel like he's kind of lost his sense of humanity already because he doesn't think twice before murdering. Is it Thornton, Professor Thornton, the
Are you talking
Christina
about?
Ricci's character,
Yeah.
or Thornwood, or something like that? I feel like a lot of these characters like they have similar sounding names.
Just say Christina Ricci's character.
Yeah, Christina Ricci's character. Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense that he would want to kill her because she's the reason that he's become the monster that he is. But we also get told that it goes against a Hyde's nature to want to kill its master. So now it kind of feels like all bets are off.
Yeah, he's had a pretty rough season, even though he's been in captivity. His father ends up being murdered by the avian.
And we don't know if he knows that. Like maybe he's running off to find his dad and that ends up being a catalyst for something else.
I'm trying to remember. I thought Wednesday told him.
Did she?
Yeah, I thought she did in the episode where she first comes face to face with him. But yeah, I
Possible.
mean, there's a lot here to still explore, I think, with his character. And where is he going to go? Is he going to immediately try and go back to Nevermore and go after Enid? Is he going to kind of slowly try and plan his next attack? Is he going to team up with the avian? Because presumably Judy got away, right? Like, I don't think she
Oh
was
yeah.
murdered by all of those outcasts. I think that she was able to flee the scene.
I think so too. I think that would have tied up her storyline way too easily, and it feels like such a big piece of the season. In a lot of ways, it feels like the main mystery, even though we've been given a huge piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I agree with that. Um, but anything you wanted to say about kind of all of these Raven attacks that happen? It reminded me a lot of the One-Eyed Raven from Game of Thrones.
Me too, especially because like the main Raven has like that bulging eye socket. Yeah. No, I was with you there. Yeah, I mean like I don't really have too much to say about it, but I do like you, I was kind of just shocked that they unmasked the master so quick, and now it's really just about seeing if she continues and Wednesday's still on hot on her heels cuz like you said, presumably she's still alive. So,
Yeah, she is presumably still out there roaming around. I did want to call out in pretty much what is the opening scene. We do see um, almost a cameo of sorts from James Payton, who played Frank Longbottom in the Harry Potter series. He is
Well,
the
that's fun.
investigator who gets attacked in his car by all of those ravens. And so it was fun. I was messaging him on Instagram, just saying how nice it was to kind of see him in something
Oh,
again.
cute.
We had met at one of the LeakyCon conferences years ago, and he's just a really good dude. So I told him
Nice.
that he needs to do something about those birds. And he said he was going to write a letter to his town council person to see if there's something that he can do. But
That's fun.
I mean, in this world, though, you never know. There's always a chance at resurrection.
That's true. I mean, we got zombies
We do.
getting going around and getting stronger and becoming more human. So, I guess the world is their oyster over at Nevermore and in Jericho.
And I think for Pugsley, though, Slurp was almost a way for him to try and fit in, but it just goes really
Yeah.
bad.
And I felt, oh my God, I felt so bad for him because he was like, oh, and now I have a best friend and a cool monster. Like, he really just wanted a friend. To keep going with your Harry Potter correlation theme, I was I was wondering if they were gonna like Ginny Weasley him in Chamber of Secrets because they were really setting him up to be like a lonely loser, and I guess in a way they kind of did because he seeks out a monster. So it's just that he doesn't get captured by the monster, and it seems like Slurp is weirdly loyal to him because he does stop when he says "not my dad." So it'll be interesting to see if,
True.
like, yeah, if maybe he Pugsley ends up playing a bigger role in just like controlling Slurp, or if that was just like that a one off because he caught him by surprise.
It's I could see Slurp defending Pugsley in some capacity in the next half of the season. I'm curious though, do we think he's going to become this fully sentient being though? And I don't know if that he would necessarily take on the same personality of the individual he was previously because he's consuming all of these other people. Is he almost going to become a combination of all these individuals?
Yeah, it would be interesting if like because he consumes, for example, like Stonehurst's brain, he's able to like tap into memory of like the people that he's consumed. And maybe so then he becomes like almost like an encyclopedia. Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about all the things that went down at Willow Hill Psychiatric Ward, as well as any predictions we have for the second half of season 2. But we're going to do that right after this break.